To France now, where Emmanuel Macron seems to be keeping his promise of trying to amend labour laws, a key pledge of his presidential campaign. The government has proposed giving businesses more room in defining working conditions, as well as in hiring and firing employees. Macron is trying to fast-track the bill through Parliament. The government says it's holding talks with labour unions.
Our first conviction is that the labor code must respond to fundamental principles in a context where it's necessary to have more freedom and more security. It might seem contradictory, but it's not. Freedom is not just for companies. Freedom is for companies and employees.
So let's go to Paris now with our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas. Craig, great to have you with us. So Macron looking like he's tackling the thorniest issues first. What are the hurdles he's going to face?
Well, if you thought the argument over American health care was contentious, argumentative, difficult, big and sweeping, that's just the opening act. The main attraction is what's going on here in France right now with these labor laws. This is as big and as far-reaching for France as changing the healthcare laws in the United States are for Americans. Boils down to one fact. The French, like the Americans, gave Macron a mandate to change the labor laws. They don't like them. So now he's starting to do it, and we have to see if the French are going to like the overhaul he is triggering.
Briefly, are the labour unions on board on all of this?
Well, so far they seem to be. There's a tentative strike scheduled for early in September. But as this goes well beyond labor laws like labor courts, which have some 150,000 cases a year about, and contracts, whether someone has a permanent contract or a temporary contract, this goes to the fundamentals of France itself. It cuts down to the education system. Because what are young people supposed to do? You know, the education system in France is designed to isolate people when they're 16 or 17 years old and put them on one track. One track. Unlike America, where you go to university, if you don't like what you're doing, you can change majors or whatever. Here, you're locked in. And that's a problem. Every educational expert in the country says so. So to change the labor laws effectively, long-lasting, you got to look at the education system. You got to look at the union system. And most of all, you have to, what he has to do, and the labor minister has said this, is they have to stop this difference between having a permanent contract and a temporary contract, because they give people here temporary contracts for 6, 7 months, and then they pull it. They don't give them a permanent. And the reason they do that is cheaper to bring on another temporary worker. So these are some of the challenges that Macron is going to have to deal with through, you know, what they call here ordonnance, executive order.